Today's session will be about the new Umbraco 10, which we updated just before the summer semester. And hopefully you have been looking, seeing it's just a little bit new, not that much, but still we wanted to just introduce you to some of the new things that at least has an impact on you. So today's agenda will be just this upgrade, why we have it, the new layouts, the new function that actually has something to do with you, who's making the content. We'll be taking a little bit tips and tricks, mostly about the media library when we move things. If you have any questions, and just in the end, just want to tell you something about what's coming up and what's just been launched last week. So that will be today's session. So let's begin. So just a little bit about why we are changing to this Umbraco 10. Basically because it's the old version, the version 7 we was on, is what we call end of life. So they stopped supporting it, and there's also a lot of new security regulation that is coming from the EU that we need to implement. So we took the full project and upgraded everything here to the new long version, which is the Umbraco 10 version. So that's a little bit of the reason why we've done this. Just a quick introduction before we go live. I think that's much more fun to do. One of the things that is most significant to you is that they changed the layout a little bit. And that little bit is just that they moved the left column here, which was a menu, they just placed it up in the top here. So that's where you'll find everything. They moved a few special things around to some new buttons, but in general, the biggest thing here is that they just moved the side menu up in the top menu, giving a little bit more space in the left side of the screen here. Otherwise, today's session will be a little bit about the Innehållsfelt, the Bilder or Tabeller, which there's been some improvement in, and which is also where you mostly work. So I think it's much more fun that we do this live. So let's go to that. Basically here you can see that we have the two new buttons up here instead of here. So I think you're good with that. There's some few new changes here that is, I think, pretty good. One thing is that the width of the felt itself is now more equal to what you will see on the portal, which means that if you have the text here, it's almost similar to what it would look out here. So you have a much better feeling about how the width of the text links will be. A new thing here is that in the Umbraco 10, you have the option to go infinity on the length of the felt on all the pages. So you can actually make it as far as you want, which is actually quite a help when you sitting and writing that you don't are bound to that 800 pixel, I think the old one was. So now you can actually have a much bigger field, which is much more nice when you work. And another thing, if you notice here, is that the menu up here, the tool menu, is actually sticky now. So how far you go down here, it still stays in the top. So you don't have to go and scroll up and down as we did in the Umbraco 7. So if you haven't noticed, that will be some of the new things here that is on the Innehållsfelt. One of the new things also concerning the content is when you insert pictures. There's been a bigger update from Umbraco side. So if you place your cursor here and you go to the media picker as you usually do, you can go in and you can find, let's see, I think I have something here. You want to insert a picture. That's the same as usual. You can search for them, you can search in the subfolders, you can create, you can put up pictures. Everything here is the same as you usually have. But the new thing is when you actually do pick a picture here, the alternative text and build text is now moved in here. So up here you have to write text about what the picture is showing, and down here you will insert the text about what's on the picture or what will be placed underneath the picture. So I'll just be doing this here. So when we insert it here, you will see that it automatically now place the text underneath the picture here. This is also an improvement due to the web appliance that we have. This is a much better way to incorporate it in the picture, and it follows the picture, whereas before it was a text as a text string connected to the picture. Now they are completely integrated. And if you need to change these, you just click on the picture and you can go in and click here and it will open up again. So this is quite good and makes it a lot easier that you have them here. Then the next thing that we also got a quite big improvement, if you ask me, is about Tabeller. And of course we should not use Tabeller. That's the first thing, but we know we can avoid them. So at least we got some updates that makes it a little bit easier. The basic function is still the same. So if you want to insert a tabel, you just go here and then you decide how many columns. And unless you just know it has to be the same width, if you want to change anything in them, we recommend that you just do one row, do all the alteration, and then you add them on. It seems like, at least in the version 7, that was the best way that it was working. So let's say you want to go in here and you get 4 rows. We can go in and we can still change the width here. So we can say like this one is 10%. And again, whenever you change anything, do not delete the percentage sign here. If you do that, everything blows up in this web because everything is based on percentages when it's calculating. So we can go in here and we can, let's just do a little bit fun here. So this one will also be 10, and then we can set these one to, let's say this one's go to 50, and this one will then be 30 if my calculation is correct. So now we have 10%. We have the here and 30% here, like this. So you have quite easy to manipulate the tables as usual. If you then want to add extra lines when you've done this, you just go in here and you can add them here. And then you can put in your Ubike for that or for each column and whatever you want to do. So that's basically the same. There's nothing new in that. The new thing here is, or maybe not new exactly, but something you have to be aware of, is that if you want to add an rubric that also follows along with the web appliance, you can go in the table egenskaber and then click on this little button here called rubric and then OK. When you do that, you'll just notice it get an extra hidden line up here. So this is actually meant for being rubric to tabel. So again, as with the picture, this one is now connected to the table itself. So they are, instead of being on top or beneath and just a text string, this is actually now connected to the table. So again, this is quite important for you when you put in content that you remember to use this function. Let's try and save this, and then you notice if you see it on the front on the portal here, you have this automatically that it will show it with white, gray in the rows. And usually that works quite well if you want to make it easy to read. But you can actually manipulate them quite a lot. You can go in, and here's actually one of the new functions as well. It actually marks the rows and columns you're choosing. But now you can actually see if you're taking the whole table, if you're doing just a column, or if you're doing a row. So it's much easier to see what you're working on. So let's say that we want to just have a white background on the table. You can go in here and then choose cellegenskaper. That's now we're working on each individual cell. You can go in here, as you could before as well, and then you can change the background color. And a slightly new thing here is that they added a color picker. So you can actually go in here, you can write the code, so you can simply just choose if it's white here. So if you go like this and save it now, we should have a white background on all of them. So this is how you can do it. So if you want to change the color of the lines or hide them, you do the same. You go in, you take the cellegenskaper advanced, and then you can actually say like I want them dotted and I want them in, let's say the red one here. So you can change them here. So now it takes the internal lines, and if you want to affect the outer line, you have to go to the what's it called, the tabellenskaper, and then you will be working on the frame of the tabel. And as well, you can do this with the background color as well. It's the same procedure. So here you have some better, I'll say, ways of working with the tables. But I have to say, avoid them if you can. If not, just be careful about how you do it. And to say everything you do in here will affect what is shown on the portal. So you can have something here. It will not affect the PDF. In the PDF, tables will always be just the lines and white backgrounds. So just have that in mind, that it's only affecting the portal view. One of the newer things that is actually also, for me, I think has got a bigger improvement is if you want to go back to a previous version of your page. As you hopefully know, whenever you hit the save button down here, it actually saves a version. So you have a complete history on each page in your plan. So you can always go back if you have anything you missed or deleted or something, and you know it's in a previous version. You can actually go in and find them. And they added that to the info page. So if you change from Innehåll on the specific page here and go to info, you will now see there's this button here called Angra ändringar. So here you have the history. That was also in the 7 version. So this is all the times that something happened to the page here. But if I want to change and go back, I can just click here, and then I can choose the different versions, and I can actually see what's the difference between them. So red means that something has been deleted from this page, and green means that it's been added. And this is the kill code which is shown here. So you don't have any pictures or borders or tables or anything. So you'll have to see, but if you know it was a specific day, so let's say it was the 19th, you know that was the version, you can just click here and you can go in here and go back to Innehåll, and now you can see it was a previous version, which meant there was nothing on the page here, which was maybe not the smartest thing to do. So we can go in again, and let's see, that means the green here means that we'll add everything to the page again. So we go in, and now we're back. So sometimes this has at least saved me because I accidentally deleted something. I can go back and find the content. So this is also a good way of working and knowing that it's there. And this new placement is actually a better because it's much easier to see what the changes are. This is actually the biggest changes that has been in the Umbraco 10 from the Umbraco 7 version, which we want to highlight here. Basically, it should be the same. So if you've already been in there, I also hope you didn't really notice much changes. They still kept it in the same format. But these small things here is just something you need to be aware of, especially when it comes to build text and alt text for pictures and the Umbraco for the Tabeller. Something about tips and tricks. I'll call it what you want, or just good to know. Maybe could also be one of these. That is, if you don't know it or you haven't been that aware of it, if you go to the media library, go here. I don't know how much you've been structuring your work over here, but my experience is from the Danish municipalities, if we don't do this from the beginning, after some time there will be a major job cleaning up the entire media library. So in general, there should be a folder called Detailplaner. I know Gotland also has one called Översikt because we have a test of an Översikt there. The idea is there will be a major folder for each plan type, but you should at least have a Detailplaner. Within that, our recommendation is that you have one for each area that you have your Detailplaner in, so subdivision. And beneath those, there should be one folder per plan. So here you can see I have 4 different plans, so I have a folder for each of them. And it is completely possible also to have subfolders. I think that's basically up to you, how much structured you will have on each plan or individual per person. I think that's quite how you work. But at least one folder per plan. So if you don't have that, I will recommend that you go in and try and clean up before it gets too messy. Any question, just reach out and we'll gladly help. We've done this a lot of time. And one of the things you can do is that if you also have accidentally placed things in a different folder than it's supposed to be in, you can go in and let's say, I think I have something down in my extra folder here. So let's say you have some pictures here that you want to move. Maybe not that one. Let's say this one here. You can choose the folder, choose the files just by clicking here. You can see I can highlight them. And then you have this button up here called Flytta. And then you simply just find the folder you want to move them to. So let's put them in process. I want to use them in my Umbraco plan. And then I move them there. So it's actually quite easy to clean up in here. If you have anything that's just maybe rubbish, because we used that when we did the implementation project, I know we have to go in and at least clean up. We have some folders on most of your installation. If you're worried about that it's been used anywhere, just let us know. We can see if we can go in and figure out if the picture's actually been used on any pages or it's safe to delete them. But I would highly recommend that you go in and take a look at them, especially the media folder. I think when I had a look at all your Innehålls structure, that seems okay for all of the installations, but I can see it varies in the media library for how it's setting up. So just before it maybe blows up, just see if you can get a cleanup in there. Trust me, that will help you in the long term. And then one of the other things that I've noticed that we have some question about sometimes, just a little bit outside the Umbraco 10 here, but if you have a plan you want to move between the different areas you have in the structure, it's really important that you do it through the administration page. So if we have a plan here that we want to move to a different subfolder in the structure, you go in to the plan on the menu point on plan, click on this little icon here where you have the area. and then you go in here, and then you can say, I want to move this one to the process folder area over in Umbraco, and then do it like this. This ensures that all the correct links between everything in the system is done correctly. So if we go back to the folder here in Umbraco, and you can see here it's not here yet. We should be able to go in, upload it here, and now I have the plan that is moved here. We have seen sometimes that you just forgotten this, and it's giving a little bit of work. If you go in here and you can actually just move it from here, but then you don't get all the links from the administration page. It breaks a lot of links and takes a little bit of time to reconnect them. It's possible, but the best way to move plans is just remember, always do it from the administration page with this function here. Everything will work. Any questions?
Jag hade en fråga om flytta bilder och filer. Tappar de kopplingen då till där de är länkade eller insatta i planbeskrivningen?
If you move them as the way I showed, if you mark them and use the Flytta function, every picture has a unique ID, which is keep. So you can move them around and it won't affect where they're placed in plans.
Okay, bra.
Any other questions? Okay, then I had the last thing on the agenda was this Nytt from SEplan. We wrote to you last week that we will be doing a major update on the system, and that has led to some new things and something that will be on the way that open up for some new things and just some corrections that we have. So with that update that came Wednesday last week, we now got the NGP that is out for you to test. And we will actually be sending out an invitation for a new webinar where we'll go through how it works. But just so you know, there is the button now NGP and it is active. We did some updates on the planbestämmelser where we now save them actually in our database so we can have versions. You can now have an active version that is showing on the portal, and you can have a version that you can edit in the administration page. So we'll now have different versions of the detailplan card, the JSON file. Then we have also quite a big update for the vägledning, which I'll show you in a bit. And then we're working on a small correction in the tidsplan on the front page of the plans, where it has a fit markering or was it on the not on the active one, but actually on the next one, which quite a lot of users asked if we can move it to the either active one or the latest active instead of the one that's next in the line. And then one of the new things is that there will be implemented a Nyhedsfeed on the administration page, which means that you will in the future get more information from us directly in the system. But when you log in sometime in the future, you will have a new icon up here, which means that you have news, and it will also indicate if there's been any new news since the last time you were logged in. So you can just see a test we're doing here. So if you click here, you will now have a list of news. So just be aware that sometime in the near future this will pop up, and then we will be able to send out information which will be reachable for all users in the system, not just our contact persons. If we go in here just quickly, the NGP button is down here. You should have it. So if you click on it, you will also see the entire interface for it. And we would like you to test it, but I think it would be better that we send out the invitation for the webinar and we'll walk you through it. And then you can see if it works as supposed to. We did a lot of testing ourselves, and so far we got everything to work correctly. But of course, gonna be fun to see if you get the same results. That's always the case. And just to quickly do the planbestämmelser, this will also be a part of that webinar we'll be having there. But basically, there's a bit changes here that if you have multiple uploads, you will have them listed here, and you can choose which one you want to see or edit. You can choose down here, if you have multiple, which one should actually be showing on the portal. So which is the version that the public will see, while you can have a working version. And now if you do an update, you have this black screen coming up that has been implemented now in the side panel here. And you have some few new options. You can actually rename your files, so you can add a version or call it whatever you want to. And you have a better option wanting to say if you want to reuse the motiver, or you want to take them from the new file you have, or if you're missing them. So there'll be some updates here that we'll be running through. But actually the biggest thing here is that that we will have different versions, that you can actually go back and find different versions of the plan card. And I think the last thing I promised was, if I just go to this one here, we can take a plan here. So what I was talking about that will be coming up is that this marking here, and you can see we have a bug because this one should be on this one here, because this one is actually active. But it will be marking the one that is currently active or latest active. So it will not look at what is coming in the future. That's not what it's going to mark. It's always going to be either the active one or the latest active one. As I said, we got a new vägledning also with this update last week, and we're not quite finished yet, just so you know. So we will be working on this in the coming weeks, but we already have done a lot of works on the vägledning. And the new thing is, if you go in here, we changed the layout a little bit, so we'll have a much more structure. There will be this bookmark in the top of the page, so you can actually click here and it will scroll down to that topic. So if you know exactly what you're looking for, there's a good chance you can find it up here now in the top. If you go to the Översikt, one of the new things we worked quite on is the Umbraco here, just because we had the session today. So if you go here, you will also find a complete new guidelines for Umbraco. So here you start by an Översikt page, and then if you want to go down here and read about how you actually put in a lot of the things I showed you today, you can go in here. It has again a bookmark in the page. So if you know I want to look at how you do, let's say, use the text, you can just jump down here. And the new thing is also that we're beginning to add a lot of these small screen recordings here. So if you have trouble by understanding what we're trying to write here in the order you should do it, you also now have the opportunity to just click here, and then you should be able to see it live, how it's supposed to be done. And you can close it down here again. So this is just a new structure and hopefully easier way to find. Another function is that you can actually click on this new button here. If you do this, you will open up on an external page, which means that you can duplicate your page here. You can go back to your plan Umbraco or on the page you're working on, and then now have them in two windows, so you can have them next to each other. Again, this works better if you have two screens. And then you will notice there's this new search field up here. So you can actually go in and let's see if we can find anything. It will show you all the pages where we have something written about Tabeller, for example. And this will be some of the things we'll be working on, because this text here that shows up is some of the text that is on top of the pages. So we actually now need to go in and write some of the text, rewrite some of the text on most of the pages, so we'll get a better search results. So you know the function is here, but we also will be doing some changes in the coming weeks to optimize this. As we didn't get the opportunity until last week, so that's why we're working on it as soon or as quickly as we can. And another thing is, if you want to send this specific guidelines to anyone, you can now actually go up here, take the URL, copy it, and just send it to a colleague if you have anything like this is where you can read about it. So you don't have to go in and find it specifically every time. You now have the choose just to send it. So yeah, some few updates, mainly around the use of the system. So I hope you think this could be interesting, or at least help you with working with the system. Thanks for now, and hope to see you again soon.